I sure hope you got around to finishing up your backlog, because there are some new Game Pass games coming in April and they are absolutely stacked. So why don't we take a good look at every single one, starting with a new game for Game Pass Standard. You should be properly excited about this one because Neon White is coming to Game Pass Standard. It's set up beyond the pearly gates and it's a stylish first-person actioner that is going to be heaven for anyone who loves those fast-paced kind of games. It's also got a nice card-based element to spice things up, so Balatro Brains, we are in our element. You can check it out from April 16th. Now, you don't need me telling you this, but Grand Theft Auto 6 promises to be one of the biggest game releases of all time when it drops later this year. And I don't have any news on when it's actually dropping, but make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it when it does get announced. In the meantime though, you can practice your auto thefting skills in GTA 5. The most recent entry in Rockstar's criminally enjoyable open world series is the second most popular game of all time, and for very good reason. And go on, drop your best guess for what you think the number one game is in the comments. Anyway, whether you're playing through the story of Michael, Trevor and Franklin's criminal capers, or just freely exploring the vast world of Los Santos, you will simply never run out of things to do, steal or explode. And that's before we even get into the even more endless world of GTA Online, which continues to be regularly updated with new content. This one's hitting Game Pass Standard, Ultimate and PC on April 15th, so that's pretty huge. And GTA 5 has never looked better than it does on Xbox Series X and S, where players can actually enjoy ray tracing, HDR options, improved textures and all sorts of other visual tweaks, along with spatial sound and faster loading times, which come in very handy. Trevor still looks a bit rough though, but can't really blame him. Now I know what you're thinking, oh lovely, another SpongeBob SquarePants game, but no, this is Patrick's game. The Patrick Star game, specifically, and ignore the fact that it's called SpongeBob, the Patrick Star game. It's definitely about Patrick, okay? It's a third-person game that turns Bikini Bottom into a sandbox under the sea where players can roam around doing the sorts of goofy, unreasonable things that make Patrick so much fun. There are loads of items to pick up, from paint cans to reef blowers, all of which you can use in whatever fashion you see fit, and the physics-based gameplay means that you just really get to enjoy the spoils of your ridiculous labour. And if you fancy a more goal-oriented brand of goofing off, well, Patrick's friends are more than happy to set equally ludicrous challenges for you to take on. If you've been dreaming about a goat sim, human fall flat combo, this is kind of the vibe that you're getting. And however you feel like playing it, SpongeBob the Patrick Star game will be available to Game Pass Standard, Ultimate and PC members from April 16th. Tempopo. It's fun to say and it's fun to play, and it's coming day one to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass on the 17th. I might just say it one more time. Tempopo. Nice. It's a psychedelic puzzler that tasks the player with guiding a group of adorable little critters called Tempopo, said it again, across a series of floating islands so that they can collect musical flowers. Does any of that really make sense? I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is that the moment you start guiding your Tempopo through one of these musical levels and watch as the whole thing merges into a beautiful harmony, you absolutely will not care. Tempopo looks like another gem from the developers of Unpacking, which just happens to be available to all Game Pass members right now. Tempopo! I had to say it one more time. But if that's all a bit too cutesy for you, well, what if Powerwash Simulator was really, really sinister? Well, then you'd have a game like Crime Scene Cleaner. And coming to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass on the 17th, Crime Scene Cleaner works pretty much the same way. You play from a first-person perspective, and you use a whole range of cleaning tools to complete one job after another, spending a bit of what you make to upgrade your gear and get things even spicker and spanner. The only real difference is that the places you'll be washing are a whole lot grislier. Oh, and that you can boost your income by keeping whatever valuables you find lying around. I mean, they're not going to need it anymore, are they? Nah. Crime Scene Cleaner is a delightfully messed up game that might leave you feeling a little dirty afterwards, so it's a good thing that Powerwash Simulator is also part of Game Pass's core catalogue. This is a big one. On April 24th, we've got another major day one release, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. From its star-studded voice cast to its Frenchified fantasy world, everything about this epic RPG just oozes class, especially when you're enjoying it with the additional fanciness of 4K and 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X. And playing as that titular expedition, you're going to be embarking on an all-or-nothing quest to save the world from the most sinister painter this side of Bob Ross, which could be stressful, but it's also a lot of fun, thanks to Claire Obscure's unique combat, which blends turn-based battling and real-time mechanics into an elegant system that just produces fights that are both tactical and dynamic. I mean, look at that. Whoa. And then we've got another big day one release coming on April 29th with Towerborn set to arrive in game preview form. I've had my eye on this one for a while now, but I want to know which of this month's day one games are you most psyched for? Let me know in the comments. The reason I'm excited though is Towerborn is a co-op game that combines old-fashioned 2D brawling with a deep set of RPG mechanics, allowing players to customize everything from their character's hairstyle to the finer points of their fighting style, and also giving them loads and loads of monsters to beat the living daylights out of. Honestly, it's a really nice balance, but the hairstyle is probably the most important bit. But Towerborn is even better if you grab a couple of mates to play with you locally or online. And when the full game launches later this year, it's going to be totally free to play. And it's a live service game too, so don't expect to run out of monsters to pulverize or things to pulverize them with anytime soon. Okay, so we've already got Far Cry 5, 6 and New Dawn sitting quite snugly in the Game Pass catalogue, so why not add Far Cry 4 and really make it a party? Coming on the 30th of April, the fourth entry in Ubisoft's mega popular open world shooter series takes us to the Himalayas and to the fictional country of Kyrat. Kyrat. Yeah. Where a nasty little fellow named Pagan Min is making everyone pretty miserable, so I guess you know what to do. Kill him, right? Yeah, okay. Far Cry 4 features a huge range of weapons to help you topple that tyrant, from simple bows and knives to rocket launchers and flamethrowers, meaning that you always have lots of choice in terms of how you want to approach your next mission. Soft and quiet, or, more importantly, loud and rocket launchery. Nice. Best of all, Far Cry 4 now comes with FPS boost, so Xbox Series X and S players can enjoy all that tyrant toppling fun in smooth 60 FPS. FPS boost is such an underrated feature, man. I love it. I mean, Star Wars Battlefront running at 120 FPS? God, count me in. And you know what? Game Pass is amassing quite the arsenal of Call of Duty titles lately, and the stockpile grows even larger on May the 1st when Modern Warfare 2 arrives. And to be clear, that's the 2022 Modern Warfare 2. You know, the one written with all those old-timey numerals that they use on fancy watches and Rocky movies. Yeah, them ones. This Modern Warfare 2 features Infinity Ward's most cutting-edge technology, from advanced enemy AI to graphical upgrades like 60 FPS and 4K Ultra HD for Xbox Series X members to enjoy. And naturally, there's another blockbuster of a campaign featuring good old Task Force 141, a whole rake of great multiplayer modes, and all the loadout customization you could ever ask for. But let's say you're in the mood for some industrial strength strategizing. Well, Anno 1800 is on the way to Game Pass Standard, Ultimate and PC on May 1st. And this is a sprawling city-building sim that takes place right at the start of the industrial age. So basically, everything in the world is about to start moving much faster. And to keep pace, you're going to need to plan and manage your cities back home while sending expeditions to the new world to track down valuable resources and other strategic advantages. You can try to dominate your rivals through trade, diplomacy, or just outright warfare. But one thing is for sure, if you don't move quickly, you're sure to be left behind. But let's slow it down just a little bit, because on most fishing adventures, the biggest thing you have to worry about is running out of sandwiches or getting a bit bored, but Dredge is not like most fishing adventures. Coming to Game Pass Standard, Ultimate and PC on May 6th, Dredge starts out like your average fishing sim, with the player just guiding their little trawler out into the depths so they can scare up some fish to sell back home, and then use that money to jazz up their boat. But then it takes a dark turn. Literally. If you keep fishing after the sun goes down, you'll actually find that your panic meter starts to rise, with all sorts of hallucinations emerging from the water to attack you. At least, I think they're just hallucinations. But that is a wrap on the new additions on the way to Game Pass in the next couple of weeks, but make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to hear about everything that is coming next. Bye!